Patty, years ago, I had an aunt and uncle that sold their house and moved into their motorhome, and they were kind of considered crazy for doing that.
People thought they were a little cuckoo, right?
They were a little cuckoo, and yet people do it all the time today.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a little discussion about living in an RV today in this episode of Travels with Delaney,
the podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. My name's Patrick.
I'm Patty.
And we are joined on the podcast couch today by none other than Mr. Truman.
Yep.
Bess is over on the theater seats having dinner.
Yeah, she's guarding her dinner. She always guards her food.
She might join us a little later.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
don't know. But if you're new to our podcast, we have been RVing since 2005.
That is crazy.
I know, a long time ago.
Yeah.
We actually bought I think it was like a 13-foot teardrop back then.
It was so cute.
And we did it because we wanted to be able to travel with our dog at the time, Maddie.
Maddie.
Yep. And, and we've had everything from that 13-foot teardrop all the way up to a 35-foot fifth wheel.
And don't forget tents.
And tents along the way. And today we're setting in a 2024 Alliance Avenue 29RL. It's
so
33
pretty.
feet long.
Love it.
And
love.
And we're gonna talk about it as a home.
Yep.
But before we do,
I'm gonna put you in the hot seat today.
Oh, we're turning
gonna do
the tables.
A little that or this.
Patty's that or this.
Yeah, because you do this or that.
Right.
I'm doing that or this.
All right, you're up.
All right, my husband, hubby.
All right.
Okay. Nice summer picnic, family picnics. We've had, a few, 4th of July and so on and so on. Labor Day's coming up. Which would you rather have a dessert? Would you rather have, and I just lost your name, your family member's elderberry pie? I think it was Aunt Beth.
Aunt Beth used to make amazing elderberry
pie. Or would you like to have a fresh blueberry pie?
Oh, this is an easy one.
It is?
It is so easy. I would give anything for a slice of Aunt Beth's elderberry pie.
Those little berries are so her poor little fingers picking those things.
I know. I remember she told me one time, like the number of elderberries.
It was nuts.
Like she could
Crazy.
make so much more like jam or something. But and Colonel Woody, Uncle Dennis, he also loved Aunt Beth's elderberry pie.
She was so sweet when we lived in Auburn years ago when we were first married. She would come over and give you elderberry pie.
Yeah, she would just stop over. That was after Uncle Russell passed.
Yeah.
Uncle Dennis or Woody, he only used to get it if he came home for the family reunion because she'd always make it for the family reunion. And she would always make sure, I think, that he got a piece.
Right. I do know one pie that you would have said, no way.
Well, here's the
vile
thing.
weed, as you call it.
Rhubarb. Although, last year I did have, because my mom used to make it.
Yes, awesome.
And her rhubarb pie was unique. It was a single crust, just a bottom crust.
Right. Hers was sweeter.
And it was a custard type pie with, so I did make one last year for you, and it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, because yesterday I had a slice from our local church rummage sale that we went to, and I thought it was pretty good because I like rhubarb no matter what.
And that one had a top crust.
Right. And it was a little more on the tart side.
Tart. Ooh.
He was like, ooh, and I'm like, it's good.
I had a white peach
Oh, it was
pie.
good too.
Oh, my goodness, was that delicious.
These ladies are awesome.
In fact, I really hope the rummage sale, I think, runs all weekend or at least through Saturday.
He wants me to run up there
I want you to run up
just
tomorrow.
to get some food.
Yeah. I want another slice of that peach pie.
Well, and don't forget the sloppy joe.
The homemade sloppy joes they had were amazing. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. And again, I like
I know
blueberry
you love
pie.
blueberry, and I know fresh blueberry you've had before.
Oh, I do like.
Shipshy.
Yeah, Blue Gate Restaurant in Shipshawana. Their fresh blueberry
is amazing,
and they only have it for a very short period of time because it's a seasonal.
Blueberry season.
It's very
June.
good. But yeah, if I could get my hands on a good slice of elderberry pie.
'Cause that's what's so fun this time of year, all the fresh berries.
Yeah.
That you can get. Yeah, so good. Fresh fruit. And now we're getting into sweet corn. Okay, we're diverting into food.
Diverting. So
Squirrel.
But it brings up the, kind of what I want to talk about today is, can we still do things like bake pies if we are living in an RV? And I wanted to explore, and for those of you that don't know, Patty and I are in the process
we've been working on this.
Getting ready to go full-time. Now, our full timing is going to look different than what a lot of the YouTubers that are full time are.
It's going to be our way.
Yeah, and I think the big difference is if you watch, quote, full timers on YouTube, most of them are traveling around the country at a pretty good clip. You know, every couple weeks or maybe every month they're moving on to a new location.
Right.
And that's not.
We're not going to do that.
We're not doing that. Our full time is going to be basically we're going to end up being up here at Happy Acres 7 months out of the year.
Right. Like from what, April to mid-October?
April to October.
Maybe
through
November,
October.
I don't know.
No, through October.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we're going to head south for 5 months.
Yep.
And park it probably in one, maybe two locations.
Right.
I keep saying we're going to do 5 months, maybe in Florida, but I could see where maybe we only do 4 months in Florida and then we head over to Texas for a month or 3 and 2. I don't know. But what we're not going to be doing is racking up a bunch of miles.
Nope.
And that's why I always think, when people when sometimes you hear people kind of judge other people for the way they RV. There are so many different. That's right.
Be curious.
There's so many ways to RV, and there's so many ways you can full time.
Absolutely.
We had friends that were retired.
Yes.
That were, quote, full timers, and they actually did it with 2 RVs.
Yeah, they had one in Indiana.
Yep.
And they had one in Florida.
And they would just leave the RV.
Yep.
They would, in essence, winterize it or summerize it because they'd leave Florida for the summer.
Just go back and forth.
So there's lots of different ways you can do it.
Yep.
But so I don't want to talk about the full timing, but I wanted to share if you were wondering why. Like this is getting, as we would say, the crap is getting real now because
it's getting real.
It's getting real because number one, the RV we're in, we went and bought a month and a half ago.
This larger one.
Yeah, specifically for this. And, and today I made a phone call to a realtor.
Yes.
And who's going to be coming out coming out.
Looking at our house. What do we need to do to make it more appealing or anything we need to fix or whatever.
And I think it got real quick.
Real
she said, I actually have a buyer that's looking for a house in your neighborhood.
I was like, what?
Now, I'm not getting real excited because they may be looking for a much bigger home.
It just depends on what they want. Yeah.
Yeah. But
what we have is what they want.
This thing's going down like what's the old saying? Going down like Donkey Kong? Was there a saying like that?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, but what I wanted to do today, Patty, was explore with you what you think will be some of the challenges of living in an RV for 365 days a year.
Truman.
Because us living in an RV is not something, it's not a new concept.
That's not a new thing for us, no.
For probably, 6-7 years, we would always move into our RV when we were seasonal up on Barton Lake.
Right.
We would usually move in mid-April.
And
we would not
through closing.
Yeah, through mid-October.
Yep.
And then last summer, we spent the entire summer living in our old alliance.
Here at Happy Acres.
And we didn't go home until, again, like the first week of October, I think it was, or second week.
Right.
So living in an RV
isn't hard
for us. We've always had a house to go home to.
A house that had everything that you would need, and then we just pull out what we wanted in the trailer.
Right. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about, was have a live discussion of what are some of the things you might be concerned about once the house is sold and all you have is it's not even 400 square feet, I'm guessing, because we're right at 33 feet. We're, say, 8 feet wide, so let's do some quick math. Oh, Lord.
I can't do
It's less than 300. I think it's less than 300 square feet.
My brain's tired. Yeah.
So what's number one?
Well, one definitely would be, I'm thinking if you're in a warmer storage. Let's just put it that way.
Storage.
Closed storage. I know I'm going to have to weed out stuff anyway. We've been trying to weed out even more. But, how do I do that? Because you don't want to get rid of everything. You might want to keep a winter coat.
Right.
Because up here in Indiana, sometimes April, October can be cold, and we're going to be here, so you might need a winter coat or gloves, stuff like that. So I don't know. I guess I got to figure out how we're going to do that. Because I know we're going to need a storage unit for the eBay business, and that's probably going to be a lot of that merchandise. But is there going to be room to store anything else?
Here's what I can tell you. We know we're going to have to rent a storage unit here in Indiana because
Right.
I mean, we're going to get rid of a lot of our furniture and stuff.
But keep really special things like our
but
grandfather
personal,
clock.
yeah, and personal. We just
Yeah.
have personal stuff we want to keep.
Family heirlooms, stuff like that.
And I should let everybody know we're not going to live in the RV the rest of our lives. That's
No.
not the plan. The plan is to probably live in the RV for maybe 3 years,
right,
max, I think would be safe to say.
Right. So that's true too, to think about that.
Yeah.
Because then we'll have a homestead somewhere warm.
Eventually, yeah. Then once I can start drawing off of my retirement account at 59 and a half, then that's when we'll probably go ahead and purchase a small home somewhere warm.
Yeah, where we don't.
And then we'll have that home that
the
home base again.
Yep. That's what I think. So yeah. So basically, we got to think about what we need to do.
So you're just concerned because right now, if you want something, you just run home.
I just go home and get it. It's easy, 15 minutes away. If I forgot something, like going into August here soon for school, I don't have my school clothes here that I wear to work. I have my summer T-shirts and skirts and whatnot. So I'm gonna have to get some. We have room. I just gotta. I always have to finagle the room, when school starts. But yeah, just how is that gonna work? What storage? Where we're gonna keep? Where we're gonna put it? How's that going to work out? It's one of the hurdles.
I would say I'm kind of the same way because I have all my tools at home. I mean, I always carry some tools in the truck for, but bigger things, saws and drills and things like that. I think that's one of those things where, although I have to be honest, obviously I'd never use them. It's just nice knowing now some of the tools we'll put into storage again.
Right.
But I think that's going to be the biggest challenge because right now, and this has always been the case, even when we lived, all those years ago at Collins Bay,
we had our house in Auburn.
The house was 30 minutes away, so if you needed something, you went and got it. So now, and the other thing is, I think this goes along with the storage. You can't just go out and buy stuff.
No, you got to be. You got to be very, conscientious of what it is.
Yeah.
And do you really need it?
Because do we have someplace to store it?
Do you have room for it? Where are you going to put it? Yeah. How are we going to store it?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
mean, I think storage is definitely one of those things.
The big one, I think.
Yeah.
Because right now, it's pretty easy.
Right.
It's simple. But I think it's going to get a little more challenging as we go.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, I would agree with that one. I think that's one of those things where, that's one of those in my mind as well as
I can think of something else just because we've had to deal with it traveling, like crazy weather that might damage, because we had damage to the cabin.
Right.
But if this is our home, it probably could get smooshed pretty easily.
Well,
and our friends were driving down the road and the semi went right into the back of their Airstream.
Right.
Or their rig at the time, not their Airstream. They have an Airstream now. But, it went right. If they wouldn't have had the trailer, because they were towable. Right. But, stuff like that, traveling, or if it's parked somewhere and, you're in the south and a hurricane or whatever.
Right.
Just safety, I guess.
Well, and I think the other thing is right now, if there's a tornado threat, if we want to, we can run back home.
Or there's
where now, and once you don't have a home to go home to,
what do you do?
Yeah, so now all of a sudden you are, so
I guess if you're in a campground, you would have, here, we have a place to go in the campground to be safe.
I think, and I think this is kind of what you're talking about, but I think it has less to do with severe weather. I'm more concerned that if there's an issue with our home on wheels,
we're done. What do you do?
What do you do? Because
if they have to take it, like your uncle's RV.
Yeah, they had to take it to an RV dealership.
And he's still not fixed. It's been over 3 weeks. He's probably going on 4 or 5 weeks. I don't know.
Right.
And you'd have to move into a hotel or something.
I think that's my biggest fear
or a rental home.
And what is that going to cost? Because, you've already paid your lot rent. They're not. The RV park's not going to give that back just because your RV's in the shop,
right?
And now you've got to go out and get a hotel.
Yep.
Where if you have a home base, you could go stay in their home till they're done.
Right.
Now we have one advantage is if the issue occurs while we're in Indiana, we have Myron.
Yep.
And there's not much Myron can't do while we're in the RV.
Yeah, he's good.
I don't want to say there would never be a situation where you say, guys, I need to take the RV to my shop. But I think for most things, Myron can fix us up here. If we are on the road, and I say on the road, I mean down south for the winter.
Right.
Then if we have a major issue, I mean, That's because I don't have a Myron in Florida.
No, there's normally one Myron.
Yeah. So I do think that's one of those things where, and I've seen full-timers who go through this.
They have a big problem they have to deal with.
And they end up, well, in fact, our friends Bobby and April, when they were full-time,
they did.
when they had their frame issue, they were in a hotel for
a few days.
A week.
Yeah, luckily it wasn't longer than that, but yeah.
But that can add up.
Sure.
You know, if you're on a budget like we're going to be, then I think so. Yeah, and I think you were kind of insinuating that like something happened to the RV, we would have no place to go.
Right.
And so that's definitely on my mind too. Not enough to make me say, oh, I don't want to do this.
No, I'm still going to go through with it.
But
I'm still
it's
going
definitely
forward.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of run through scenarios like what if. Well, there's something interesting.
Is that a schoolie?
That is a schoolie. So we're setting, for those of you that don't know, we are recording at Happy Acres Campground in
now we're gonna check
Angola,
this out.
Indiana. And we got all our windows open because it's July.
Oh, my gosh, and it's only 69 degrees outside.
What is today, the 18th, I think?
But 2 days ago, it was blustery hot.
Yeah, so we got all the windows open, and a schoolie just came into the park. I don't know that I've ever seen a schoolie in the park before.
We're going to check that out.
I know we're going to have to check that out. So anyway, squirrel.
Squirrel alert.
we got diverted from just because that's something I haven't seen come in.
Yeah.
We have had a ton of like big buses this summer, Allegros and Newmars and absolutely beautiful. I have not seen, and this schoolie still looks like a schoolie on the outside.
It looks like a school bus.
You know, sometimes they'll paint them.
You know, schools on the bus go round and round.
There you go.
Round and round. Cool, all the cool kids in the back of the bus.
Yeah.
La 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 la.
What about let's continue.
So we got storage. We've got just
fear of if we have to
any,
move out because of maintenance or something like that. I'm wondering if we're going to ever get to a point. I don't think so.
Where it's going to be tight.
Yes, like getting on each other's nerves.
I think this is my thinking.
Okay.
That if we're somewhere warm, like right now, it's warm outside.
Right.
You can go outside.
Yeah, I agree.
We have our area outside. I'm sure we'll, like right now, we've got our chairs and our umbrella, and we got a little fire pit. We're good.
Right.
You can hang out outside, or if you're in a place like this, you got a pavilion you can go to, or trails you can walk on, or a pool to swim in. You got things you can do.
Right.
It's not like being in Indiana in the frigid, freezing cold weather in a tiny, tiny house and you can't get out.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah. So you could use your outside. Like
I mean, I'm not real concerned. I'm literally trying to brainstorm.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be an issue.
I don't think so because we've done 7 months before.
Right. In a similar rig this size.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just different, though, because here we only really have like 3 rooms.
Right.
You know, you've got this big open kitchen, living room, dining room. Then you have a very, your bathroom's pretty small. It's not like you're going to hang out in there.
No.
And even our bedroom is not very big. You could.
I guess if you're little like Myron, you could get in the outdoor storage.
You could. Myron's hung out in the outdoor storage before. But
you're just sitting in there working.
I mean, you're just limited on, like your space, my space. The other thing is we run businesses out of our RV.
Yeah, we're working on that.
I think that's going to be the biggest challenge.
So far, I'm thinking we're trying to figure out how this is going to work. And right now, my little Subaru is like...
Yeah, Subaru is like storage.
The holding place for the stuff I want to list. Yeah. So,
and it's primarily the eBay business I'm referring to because Travels with Delaney, we can continue to that living in RV. I think I'm excited because I think we're going to be able to bring new content that might be valuable and useful for people our age that say, hey, I might be interested in retiring early and doing what you're doing as a gap filler, a bridge between,
full retirement, semi-retirement.
Yeah. And so I feel like that, and so that's easy to shoot video and edit. It's the eBay side where we have to store inventory temporarily because inventory in both wherever we park it for the winter, and then here at Happy Acres, we'll have storage units.
Figure out how that's going to go.
Yeah. But we still have to, you have to bring inventory here because we have to list it, which means we have to photograph it.
Sometimes if it's clothing, I wash it. Or if it's something like shoes, you clean them up a little bit if they need, or anything like that. You got to take care of it first, photo it, measure it, list it, store it. Because after you do it, we put them in
until it goes back to
the
inventory.
poly mailers, and then we got bins right now labeled from the alphabet. We just started B1 today.
So we're literally right now running or attempting to run the eBay business out of the trailer.
Right.
Not because we have to, because we could run home
Oh, it's easy to run home.
But
I'm trying to do a test
do it
run here to see how it works.
so that it's more smooth when we don't have a home to run to.
And I think we're starting to work on things. We've figured out some different things we could use and how to work in here.
My guess is a year from now, once we're living in here full time, the process is probably going to look different.
I'm sure.
Because we're going to continue to tweak it.
But I could even see then maybe, because I even thought like our bedroom area, maybe that would have better lighting or something. But anyway, we're working on lighting right now, so the pictures don't have grays and shadows. And, Yeah. But, yeah.
All right. Anything else that you're kind of worried about with this whole? I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you about moving into an RV full time? Where 1 is I'm not nervous, let's say, to 10 like I am scared to death, and this is
maybe a 2.
Yeah, that was with me.
I'm not scared at all about it.
I think there's just some minor things to tweak, but I think because we've spent so much time in RVs over the last
and we've learned
10,
a lot
12, 14 years.
Little tricks for things. Yeah, because we know, like, even with the Tab example, tiny little trailer, Tab 400, I mean.
Right, yeah.
I always said, it has to be Tab size. It's got to be little. It's got to be lightweight. You can't have anything heavy. You know, you can't carry around Fiesta ware and fancy China. You got to have lightweight. You know, what's that called? Melamine?
Melamine.
Yeah. But anyway, that's just an example.
Right.
Like, we just thought, like, you know, it's got to be small. So, like, when you're in a small space, and we even learned that with the cabin, used to be the rule that you bring something to the cabin, something has to go out. You bring something in, like clothing, something goes out. So, but yeah, so I just think it's just different.
Is there anything where you're like, I have it right now in my home, but I'm not going to probably be able to have it here? Where you're just like, I'm going to be sad that I can't.
Be sad that I won't have it?
Yeah. Is there anything?
Honestly, I can't think of anything.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's good.
I mean, I love our grandfather clock, but that's going to go into storage.
Right.
The memento type things. But there's not like something I'm really attached to.
You have a lot of shoes, and there's no way those are all coming in here.
Yeah, a lot of the shoes are going to have to probably be sold.
Right. That's why I was just curious, because I know I have a lot of kitchen equipment that just cannot come with us.
Well, and I'm thinking a lot of my work shoes, you know, I wouldn't probably need those. I might just need one nice pair of shoes that goes, you know. But anyway, and luckily, you know, I like skirts and dresses, and I got sandals, but I just narrow it down to my, you know, my Birks or whatever. I just have to, like, get rid of some stuff.
You just can't have so many.
I love shoes.
I know you do.
Can I have separate shoe storage?
No, I don't know. If you figure out where that is.
My little shoe shed?
Yeah, maybe.
Say that fast. A shoe shed.
A shoe shed?
But no, seriously, yeah. There's just stuff that, it's just going to have to be narrowed down.
Right.
Yep.
So, all right.
Okay.
Well, that's these are things we're thinking about. We're going to continue to probably periodically mix in more of this process into the podcast. You know, because I think it's something that even if there's people out there that are like, yeah, I would never do that, I think they're still interested. I know there's things where we're not interested in climbing Mount Everest, but we might be interested in hearing about people who are going to do it. And
well, and another thing we thought about, too, just to add another one in there, was like I have a little Subaru. And at one point we thought we wouldn't need it. But I think we're going to want it because if we're out, like, getting our inventory, or, you know, you don't want to drive the big truck around all the time.
I hate driving the truck to go yard sailing or garage sailing.
Where do you park it?
Yeah. No, we'll keep the car.
Yeah, it gets good gas mileage, and right now it's...
And sometimes we both need a vehicle.
Yeah, sometimes, because we're not ready yet just to have one.
Right.
We're not to that point where you just need one like my mom and dad. They only need one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cool.
All right.
It's so exciting.
Well,
changes.
Hopefully this, at least for some of you, made you think about, could you live in an RV, a 33-foot RV?
I think it's doable. You just got to
Well, no, it is, because everybody, I should say everybody, there are a lot of people who do it and have done it in the past, including my Uncle Charles and Aunt Amy, who way back in the, I don't know if that was the late 70s, early 80s, you know, my mom thought they were nuts. I don't know. We weren't an RV or camping family, so maybe people back then were doing the full-time thing a lot more like they do today.
You just didn't
and
know
my family
about
just didn't know about it. Or if maybe they were like the pioneers of the full-timers club. I don't know.
None of my relatives ever camped that I can remember. So.
And I guarantee you there's going to be some relatives today that think we're nuts.
Oh, I'm sure.
But,
I could think of one right now.
Yeah. But you know what? You get one life to live, and we're going to live it our best way.
We're just ready to do a different adventure,
That's
I think.
right.
Yeah, take a different course in the road. Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone who has stayed with us during
bless
this.
your hearts.
And a huge shout-out to our friend and producer, Mr. Jim Kuzman.
Thank you, Jim.
And, again, we just can't thank Jim enough for all that he does to make the audio podcast. You know, he every week makes sure this thing gets edited and so that I can get it loaded in time.
Such a kind heart.
He is.
Yes.
And so, anyway, and thank you to all of you for taking time out of your day to listen to us.
Absolutely.
Till next time, everybody. We'll see ya.
On down the road.
Bye.
Travels with the lady. We'll see you on down the road.